So, I popped into High House Insurance to see if they could quote for my house insurance rather than using the internet. High House got a great deal. So to celebrate, I bought a posh hairdo. It made me look beautiful, gorgeous enough to become a highly paid model. I then won Celebrity Big Brother. I had an affair with an MP. Now I'm promoting a doll of me that says, "Cool, blimey, you're well fit."
Happy things happen when you talk face-to-face with High House Insurance. See if we can beat your home insurance quote from the internet. Find us on the High Street Selsey or call 606 552.
Hello and a warm welcome to Manhood Internet Radio. I'm Tony Wiener, your host for this show. We will start the programme this week with Alison's review of what's on in the area, and that will be followed with the answers to last week's quiz, which I'm sure you're waiting for. Sam Tate from Selsey Town Council will tell us about the great event she has organised in the village. Keith interviews Andy Gibbs about his financial services business, and we hear from somebody who has one of the best jobs in the world. We will then finish the show with our Mr. Quiz Kevin, who poses another set of brain teasers. Okay then, so let's start the show, and it's over to Alison for a roundup of what's on in the area.
Hello there, and welcome once again to our weekly look at what's going on in Selsey. Now, of course, the schools have broken up, so there are many activities going on, particularly for the younger members of our population. But first of all, I'll just have a run through our regular events, and then we'll turn our attention to what's going on for those people that are no longer at school. On Tuesday, the 26th of July, at the RSPB, there's a Birds and Craft Day. That begins with a walk on the reserve, spotting and learning about the birds that we can find. Then we'll return to the centre to create works of art using what we've seen and learned as inspiration. That's going to run from 10:30 for 2 hours, and the cost for that is £3 per child or £2 for RSPB members. On Thursday this week, it's the Selsey Cinema Club. They're showing a film called Youth, which has a 15 certificate. That will begin at 7:30pm in the town hall, and tickets will be £5. There is a booking fee if you book in advance. Youth stars Michael Caine and has an appearance from Jane Fonda in, so that should be good. On Saturday the 30th, it's St Wilfrid's Church Summer Fair. That will be from 10 o'clock in the morning until 1 o'clock at their church hall on Church Road, and it includes a fun dog show. Later that evening at the Royal British Legion, there is live entertainment with the band Four Tunes. New members are always welcome there. The next day, Sunday the 31st, you can go on a guided walk, Discover Medmery, which is a summer's walk as the skylarks fill the sky with song overhead. Warblers compete from the reed bed and dragonflies patrol the pools. Now, booking for that will be essential. The number to ring, 641 508. That's 641 508. That walk will take 3 hours, beginning at 10 o'clock. The cost for that is £7 each, or if you're an RSPB member, that will be £4. Also on Sunday in Siddlesham, there's a Maze Garden Open Day. That will be in aid of the Perennial Gardens Benevolent Society. The open day will last from 10 o'clock until 5 o'clock. Adults will be charged £3, but children can go free. There are refreshments available in the marquee, together with garden games on the lawns. There'll also be stalls selling locally grown plants and new books, and hopefully there'll be some sculptures there from local artists displayed around the garden. The Maze Garden is in Siddlesham. You just follow the road posters on the day, and there's plenty of parking near to the gardens. Now, the end of July also marks Lifeboat Week in Selsey, with plenty going on. That's launching, we might say, on Sunday with a sea service of praise and thanksgiving to God. That will be held at St Peter's Church at 6:30 in the evening. The Reverend Andy Wilkes, who's chaplain to the Selsey Lifeboat, will be leading the service, together with Pastor Phil Harding from East Beach Evangelical Church and Father John Healy from the Catholic Church. The music for that sea service will be provided by the Chichester City Band, and choirs will be singing from the Selsey churches. So that's the launch of the Selsey Lifeboat Week on Sunday the 31st of July. Earlier that day, there will have been a community fun day organised by Checkatrade. That will be from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock at the Selsey Centre. So let's turn our attention now to what's happening for the youngsters. There's a programme called Here Comes Summer, and there are all sorts of activities that youngsters from the schools can get involved with during the weeks. On a Tuesday, there's a summer film club, and they're going to be working on their very own film project. So that's Tuesdays from 10 until 4. There's also a drop-in activity afternoon for 10 to 16-year-olds to be held at the Selsey Centre from 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock. That's going to be held on Thursdays. There's £1 charge for that, but there's no need to book. There's also a summer skills theatre project for those youngsters who are aged 15 or over. This will involve playwriting, acting skills, set design, press and publicity. It's free to join, and if you want more information, you need to speak to Hilary Strong. That's Hilary at strong-ideas.co.uk. She's a professional theatre person living in Selsey and will be very keen to meet young actors and young theatre lovers. Now, moving across the peninsula to have a look at what's going on in the Witterings. Plenty as usual happening in the barn. So let's have a look at Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. On Sunday, there's the Windrush Church meeting at Bracklesham Barn from 10:30 until 12:45. And then later in the evening, there's a Pond Barn quiz night starting at 8 o'clock. On Monday, the 1st of August, there's the Little Ducklings Mother and Toddler group meeting in the barn from 9:30 until 11:30. If you're not quite that young, how about Circa Vinyas's Flow Yoga? That will be held in the barn from 9 o'clock until 10, followed by short mat bowls from 10:30 until 1. Later in the evening, yoga with Elaine at Bracklesham Barn from 7 until 8:30. Running alongside that, there's the ARO Ladies Beginner Kickboxing with Verity. That's from 7:30 until 8:30, so lots to do on Monday. Equally on Tuesday, there's the Little Explorers Play and Learn Together at the barn from 9:30 until 11. And there's also meet and greet at the West Wittering Memorial Hall with coffee, games, homemade soup and a roll. That will take you from 10:15 until 1. Back in the barn, there's yoga with Elaine from 10 until 11. Witterings have their own quilters group at St Peter's Roman Catholic Church Hall. They meet in the evening from 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. If you're interested in that, you need to speak to Judith Rogers. Her phone number is 511 431. That's Judith on 511 431. Later that evening, there's a community pop choir at West Wittering Memorial Hall. That is held from 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. There's a badminton club which meets at Bracklesham Barn from 7:30 until 9:30. And that's about it then for Bracklesham Barn. So I hope you all have a good week and enjoy the summer weather we're having. Bye for now.
Thank you, Alison. Now let's find out the answers to last week's brain teaser.
And now for the answers to Kevin's quiz of last week. And Kevin asked us, the famous comedy actor who was the voice of the genie in the animated movie Aladdin, well, that was Robin Williams. What is the nickname of the great bell in the clock tower of the Palace of Westminster? That, of course, is Big Ben. What would you do with a lambeg? You'd beat it. What was the famous boxing match between Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali in 1975 billed as? That was, of course, the Thriller of Manila. And who was the American tennis star born in 1943? She won 12 Grand Slam singles, 16 Grand Slam doubles and 11 Grand Slam mixed doubles titles. Who was she? That was, of course, Billie Jean King. And the connection is Michael Jackson hits Rockin' Robin, Ben, Beat It, Thriller and Billie Jean. We look forward to next week's one, Kev.
We now go over to Keith, who is talking to Sam Tate about events in Selsey.
Right, I've got with me now Sam Tate, and Sam is our lovely town coordinator, and she's just popped her head in to give us an update on what's going to be happening in August and such with the screen on the green. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Keith.
How's it going?
It's going really well, actually, Keith. We've been really pleased by the response that we've had from people to the event and to the extras that we've added on this year. So hopefully it should all be a really big success. We've just got to hope for good weather at this point, but that's in the lap of the gods. You never quite know. But do you know what? Even if it's raining, I think just bring an umbrella, put a poncho on, it'll still be great.
Good idea. Maybe I'll get a franchise for selling ponchos. Now, are you fully booked with regards to catering and that sort of stuff?
We've still got a couple of slots available if any traders are interested in having catering stalls. We could particularly do with maybe another couple of savoury type food vendors, but contact us and let us know. If you just call the town hall on 605 803, then have a chat with us, ask to speak to me, and I can let you know what we've got available.
Okay. Now, just remind us what films we've got coming up.
Okay, so we have 3 days of films this year to fill. So we have on Friday the 19th of August, we have Mamma Mia showing at 7 o'clock, and we have the Rocky Horror Picture Show in the Marquee at 9:30. On Saturday the 20th, we have a 2 o'clock screening of Frozen. We have a 7 o'clock screening of the original Ghostbusters movie, and we have a 9:30 in the Marquee of The Life of Brian. And on Sunday the 21st, which is Best of British Day, we have a 2 o'clock showing of the Shaun the Sheep movie. We have a 7 o'clock showing of the original and Best Italian Job, and we have a 9:30 showing of With Nail and I. So lots and lots of films all weekend, something for everyone, and still a few packages and extras left if people are interested in booking either afternoon teas, deck chairs or picnics, all of which you can pre-book to just make your life a little bit easier and enjoy it a little more.
So you've even got posh seats.
We even have posh seats on the green, exactly, and even better, the posh seats have their own luxury toilets, which, trust me, will probably be a real bonus.
Well, that'd be worth the payment, certainly. Well, thanks for popping in and updating us, Sam, and I'm looking forward to it, I have to say, and I know a good many more people that are also looking forward to it, and let's hope it's just a great event, as I'm sure it will be.
Brilliant, thank you, Keith, and if you want more details, just look at our website, www.screenonthegreen.co.uk.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Keith and Sam. We will appreciate the great work that Sam does for us. Okay, now back to Keith, who is talking to Andy Gibbs about his financial services business.
My next guest today is a gentleman, one of the few, I guess, that lives on the Manhood Peninsula that's not afraid of the tax man, and that's because he's an accountant. His name's Andrew Gibbs, and he's from AMG Financial Services, and he's going to be letting us in on a few secrets of how we can get the best out of our money and the least to the tax man. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, Keith.
Now, we all... none of us actually like to pay tax, I guess. Well, most of us don't like to pay tax. And of course, coming to you, we'd probably pay as little as it's possible to pay.
That's exactly right. Is one of the few certainties in life, along with death, is taxes. So obviously you need to make sure that you're structured in the most efficient way to ensure that the tax man gets as little as possible. There's various schemes that you can use in terms of business setups, which again we can advise on. Claiming all the eligible expenses for businesses is a big one. So again, making sure you utilise home office expenses, travel and subsistence expenses, and like you say, we'll offer a thorough check through your current accounting process to make sure that you're claiming everything that you need to and can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's true to say, I'm sure that a lot of people don't claim anywhere near what they're entitled to when it comes to...
Absolutely, like I say, is that it's an area where people are a bit shy of, and they don't want to push the boundaries. But again, there's quite defined case law and law in itself about what you can and can't claim. So again, the general principles is that it should be wholly and exclusively for business purposes. So again, that's something that we would be able to check from your accounting records to recommend expenditure that you might have overlooked. And again, it's definitely worth making sure you claim everything that you can.
And of course, you're used to dealing with it, so you know the kind of things that people perhaps would forget or overlook and say, well, oh no, I don't claim that. If you say to them, oh, do you claim for this? Oh no, I never thought of that.
Absolutely, like you say, is that people are sometimes unaware, because we deal with a variety of trades and professions. Like I say, we'll have a good understanding from the outset of what can and can't be claimed. One of the things that people aren't aware of is that if you're employed and you have to provide tools or other bits and pieces for your employment, you've got every opportunity to put a tax claim in for that. So again, it's worth, if you're employed preferably as a mechanic or an engineer and you have to buy tools, it's an area that can be looked.
And of course, in the area, there are an awful lot of self-employed people, a lot of builders, a lot of mechanics, a lot of everything, I think, small business-wise, and of course the shops and everything else that may be paying more tax than they should be paying.
Absolutely, like you say, is that every business will obviously need to file some form of tax return, whether it's a corporation, if it's an individual, or if it's a partnership. So like I say, is that you can target quite a lot of people with the same brush in terms of just ensuring that they're claiming what they need to. Like I say, there's various business structures you can adopt. There's been various changes in dividend tax law that came into effect from April. So again, even if you're operating as a company, it may be worth looking at your shareholdings and looking to segregate them, because again, where before you could take up to about £40,000 without incurring a personal tax charge, they've now changed that to 7.5% taxable from over £5,000 of dividends. So again, it's just making sure that you keep up to date with a ever-changing landscape. And obviously, what with the political nature that we're going through at the moment, is that you can be relatively sure that there will be some form of budget coming soon. And like you say, it's always best to keep up to date with what's happening, so you can then plan going forward.
Absolutely. Now, how about people that, like, we've got many people in the area that are retired and have got investments or that sort of stuff. I mean, can they come to you for advice as well?
Absolutely. Like I say, it's one of the areas that we deal quite heavily with. Anyone of state pension age may be unaware that they may be due a rebate back. Like I say, it will be very specific to an individual situation, but one of the prime scenarios that we deal with is that if you've got a state pension and receive bank interest of a reasonable amount, so say between £200 to £800 a year, you may well be due a tax rebate, and we can assess the last 4 years, and again we can work out if you're due any rebate. We've had a couple of clients in the last couple of months that have had in excess of £1,000 to £1,500 back. So again, it's a service we offer free of charge to review it, and then again, if you're successful in obtaining a rebate, we then will charge a percentage fee.
Well, that's right. It's a sort of no win, no fee.
Absolutely.
Situation, yeah. And of course, far better we have 1,000 or 1,500 quid than the taxman has it.
Absolutely, and it's unfortunately, if you don't claim it, you will lose it. So you can go back 4 years, but unfortunately, if you leave it for an indefinite amount of time, you will lose prior years. So it's worth having a look, and like I say, we can have a look into it as an initial sort of just to double check, and if there's anything in it, like I say, it's no win, no fee, so you can rest assured.
Well, that is reassuring, because anybody that can get money back for me, I mean, and lots of companies, of course, have made big money doing that recently with the PPI things and stuff like that, where people just have lost money out of ignorance, basically.
Absolutely.
Because they won't go to people like yourselves and ask them for advice or seek advice from them in case it's going to cost them too much money. It's a win-win situation with you, because if they don't get anything back, they don't pay anything.
Absolutely, and tax law is very much like that, is that you have to make the election yourself. Is that it's very rare that the tax man will write to you and go, you've overpaid. A lot of them you have to make the claims. Another area to look into is married couples. So again, if you're earning below £40,000, there's an opportunity to save £200 a year. So again, that's something that we can look into for you. It's quite basic requirements, but again, we'll offer a no win, no fee structure. But again, there's reliefs and allowances out there to ensure that you mitigate and minimise any tax liabilities.
Well, it sounds to me like it's definitely going to be worth coming and having a chat to you, because at least whichever way, it's going to pay for itself.
Absolutely, like I say, we try and be as upfront as possible. We won't charge for these. We will offer a no-win, no-fee service. And even if it's just for reassurance purposes, is that you don't think anything's due back, we can have a quick look into it, and we, within a couple of days, should be able to come back and say, you're due something back, or no, it looks like you're absolutely fine.
Well, I'm sure you're going to have people flocking to your door, as it were, now. So in order to do that, of course, they're going to need some information. So how can they contact you?
The office number is 01243 681 097. Alternatively, you can visit our website, which is www.amgfinancial.co.uk. Like I say, we've got obviously email, Facebook, so any means of communication, we'll get back to you. But if not, give us a call on the office number and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Well, that's brilliant, Andy. Thanks for coming in and giving us a few clues on how to save some money. And I'm sure people will be coming to knock on your door and asking you to do exactly that, because why shouldn't we have our money? And as you say, the tax man ain't going to tell us.
Absolutely, like you say, is that you may be due thousands back without even knowing it. So it's certainly worth a conversation. But like you say, if you don't claim, then unfortunately it will stay in the Chancellor's back pocket.
Well, we'll try and stop that. Thanks once again, Andy.
No worries. Thank you, Keith.
Very interesting. Thank you, gentlemen. Now we hear from somebody who has probably the best job in the world. So over to Keith, who is talking to Lucy Armstrong.
Right, with me now, I've got a young lady who's probably got the best job in the world, or at least most of us would think so. I'm not so sure she'd agree, but this young lady's name is Lucy Armstrong, and Lucy runs the Cafe by Lucy Armstrong Chocolates, which is in East Witterings. Now, if you've never been there, I can promise you they do the best hot chocolate in the world. Well, that's my view of it. It's only a personal view, but I promise you need to taste it. Welcome, Lucy.
Hi, yeah, thank you for having me.
That's not a problem at all. Now, chocolate is your life, I believe.
Yeah, pretty much all day, every day at the moment, because we're quite busy, so yeah.
And what do you do in the way of chocolate? Because, I mean, I actually know because I've been in. But,
well, quite a lot of different things. So we do chocolate bars, we do filled chocolates, like the most popular one is the salted caramel. We do milk chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate. We have massive 500 gram bars, small bars, mini bars.
In actual fact, chocolate of all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a cafe as well.
Yeah, so we also do homemade cakes as well, and waffles and ice creams and sundaes, that sort of thing.
And some rather splendid coffee, I hasten to add.
Yeah, it's locally. It's done by a local trader who roasts it locally, and it's also fair trade, so it's quite popular.
And award-winning, or some of your stuff is award-winning.
Yeah, we've won a few Great Taste Awards for some of the chocolates over the years, and we've just recently won the Chichester Observer and Gazette Retailer of the Year. So we won that back in May.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now, let people know where you're situated, Lucy. I'd keep it a secret if it was me personally, because I wouldn't want other people going there, but I'm sure you will welcome all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we are down Shore Road, so we're sort of in the middle of Shore Road. It's the big sort of blue sign. We're next door to Moonlight Tandoori, the Indian restaurant.
So chocolate and Indian restaurants. What the smells from those wafting together strikes up a strange picture.
It can be interesting.
How long have you been there?
We opened March last year, so almost a year and a half.
And has it been a busy year?
Yeah, it's getting busier and busier as sort of time goes on. We're sort of up on last year, which is really nice. And of course, summer holidays is imminent, so that brings quite a lot of people down as well.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of people in the area this time of the year, and very few of them, I would think, could resist chocolate or cake.
Yeah.
And they've only got to look in through the window, as I did before we came in, I have to say, and they'll be enticed, I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Do you make cakes for special occasions or?
Yeah, actually last week we did two birthday cakes. One was for a 90th birthday, and I think the other one was for a child's birthday. So the child's one was just a sort of simple chocolate sponge cake with happy birthday written on it, but the other one was a sort of 2-tier massive double chocolate Guinness cake with chocolate ganache and white chocolate written on it, and yeah, it looked quite good.
Being diabetic, you've nearly killed me just with the explanation. Have you any plans to expand from where you are, or in the future, or
possibly, yeah, somewhere down the line we could open another shop somewhere. We're just sort of focusing on this shop as well, because we also have an online shop, because before we had the shop I was doing the chocolates from home, and we used to go out to loads of different events all over the place and sell online. So we're just sort of concentrating on local for now, and then we'll see what happens further down the line.
And do you still do the online?
Yeah, we still have an online shop, so if people come to us from sort of anywhere, they can always order more online if they can't come back to East Wittering.
So you can get a regular supply
Yeah.
then. I mean,
Yeah.
You can take away as much as you can carry,
Yeah.
and then you can order it on a regular basis and
Yeah, exactly.
have it delivered. Well, that's wonderful.
We also do chocolate making parties more in the winter, so we have a group of up to 10 people where they can make chocolate bars or chocolates, and we did quite a few just before and after Christmas for a hen do. We had a couple of birthdays, and they all had a great time. We also do chocolate afternoon teas as well, so we've got a selection of 4 or 5 different sort of chocolate patisserie items which they can have, which goes down really well.
I'm drooling, Sidney. You know that, don't you? You can see the drool. Yeah. Well, what can I say? The only thing I can say is, if you've never been around to the Cafe by Lucy Armstrong Chocolates, you really should go. Pop in, try a coffee, try one of their hot chocolate drinks. They are fabulous, and they have all sorts of stuff, marshmallows and all manner of stuff that I can't take. And Lucy's sitting there laughing at me now because she knows I can't have them. Anyway, if people want to contact you, Lucy, how can they do that?
So they can either pop into the shop, or we've got we're on Facebook, the Cafe by Lucy Armstrong Chocolates, Twitter at LA Chocolates, Instagram, or it's Lucy at gourmet-chocolates.co.uk. And the telephone number is 01243 931 715.
Well, there you go. Now, if you want anything to do with chocolate and you can't get through on any of those means of communication, you can always visit. So just pop down to Shore Road in East Wittering and go in and see Lucy in Cafe by Lucy Armstrong Chocolates. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I expect you want to visit Lucy, but before you do so, it is now that time when we challenge you with another tricky test. So over to Kevin.
Right, we're going across to see what Kevin's got for us this week, and I hope it's a bit easier than it was last week. What have you got for us, Kevin?
Right, hi, it's Kevin with your latest Kevin's Connection quiz. 5 questions. What connects the answers to the 5 questions? Question number 1, tricky question. Which gemstone takes its name from the ancient Greek for unbreakable? Question number 2. What is the first name of the wife of American President Barack Obama? Question number 3. The Greek Titan Prometheus stole what from the Greek gods and gave to mortals? What did he steal? Question number 4. Jazz music. What was the nickname of the trumpeter John Burks Gillespie? What was his nickname? And question number 5. What family relation was the psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud to the British artist Lucian Freud? What was their family? What was his relation? You need to get his relation for the answer. That's your quiz. 5 questions. What connects all the answers? And again, it's a tricky connection. Good luck with that.
Well, I'm not so sure I did any better this week than I did last week, Kevin, but we'll see.
Good luck with the quiz, And now we have reached the end of this week's show, so it's thanks to all our contributors, including Local Life magazine, our sound editor John Mallett, our presenters Alison and Keith, not forgetting, of course, our producer John Fletcher. So it's goodbye from me, Tony Weiner. Until next time, bye.